All right, guys, sneaking off for a little 9 holes here at the Onion on the original side. I got state am qualifying on Sunday, so happy to just get out here, but I figured I'd take this 9 and kind of introduce myself for a few holes. A couple holes after that, talk about how Rhett and I met, our golf backgrounds, all of that, and then final 3, talk about the Bryson match, how that came to be about, but kind of looking forward to, talking about that and then walking you through some shots and kind of just how I go about a round, something about just what I do, pre-shot routine, all that. So looking forward to it. And yeah, we're going to go from there. All right, so drive is in the left rough here, and I got 210 up the hill, probably playing about 215. Right now I have a 5-iron. And my kind of thought here is I want to miss it short. Definitely don't want to go long to this green, so I'm okay leaving it a few yards short of the green and having a chip up. But all I'm really trying to do is pick a target out here about 2 feet in front of my ball, put a good swing on it, and pick a good line. All right, I overdrew that. Wasn't a great swing. I'll probably have a pretty hard chip at it. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in a small town in California called San Geronimo. It's about an hour outside of San Francisco in the North Bay. Started playing golf pretty competitively early on, around age 12. Started taking an interest to it. Loved going out and practice and doing all that, and as I kind of got older, realized golf was my sport and kind of just loved the grind and trying to get better every day. Something that's fun to do, and up until high school, started playing pretty damn good golf at a young age. So a lot of practice thinking out what I was going to do, but it was something overall that was fun and took a really good interest into it at a young age. So I have about 25 yards here to a front pin with a big slope that I can let the ball roll up on. I think if I land anything towards the hole, it's going to go past the pin. So I'm just going to try to trundle something up there with a 60, see if I can get it to trickle onto the green. All right, a little short, but overall, pretty happy with that. We'll have a putt at it. So I have about a 10-footer here, around the greens. Pretty methodical. I've always been a dyer of the ball. So this putt, a little bit downhill. It's going to be breaking left to right. All I'm really trying to do is pick a good target. I like picking something in the middle and letting it find that high point. I also use the triple track ball for alignment. Something I have always consistently struggled at is aligning myself. So I find if I can line the ball up right, it's an easy way for me to feel confident with where I'm stroking it and what my stance is going to be. And one thing with the triple track ball is you got to practice lining it up. So when I go to the putting green, a lot of what I'm doing is just hitting one ball. I'm not hitting multiple, and I'm really taking my time training my eyes to line up the ball right. I always do 2 practice strokes behind the ball, and then I walk into it, visualize it as I'm walking into it. Nope. Oh, pretty bad stroke. Pushed it. I knew it was going to be fast. Wasn't ideal right there. See, same pre-shot routine. every time. All right, decent par to start. Nothing special, nothing bad. So I remember the first time I was thinking golf could be my thing was in high school. Tournament round, went out and shot 66 my sophomore year in a high school tournament. And that was kind of the first like motivating thing, was putting up some good 9-hole numbers. But then was able to, finally get a good round on 18 in a competitive tournament, and that just kind of kept the drive going from there. From high school, went to UC Davis and played college golf there. Straight downhill, par 3. Not the best angle for filming. Got 132, playing 115 with a little wind in the face. So I'm just gonna take a little pitching wedge right here. Don't need to swing hard, just wanna flight something down. I always pick a target, a foot, 2 feet in front of the ball, align myself to that. It's going to be a little long. Putting, but a little long. It's a good swing. So at UC Davis, I was on the team for 5 years, did a little gap year in between, took a redshirt year. And I was always a solid player. It was probably 3 to 5 on the team, and admittedly, I think I didn't take golf as seriously as I should. With school, joined a fraternity, I wanted to make the most of the college experience, and I don't regret it at all. I think, kind of what I found out was guys are so good in college that you get to see a lot of different games. I remember playing with Taylor Gooch one year in Hawaii at a tournament. He shot like 65 or 64, and I think I shot 70 or 71, and just didn't see that number out there. Didn't mean I can't shoot a number like that, but you just see guys that are taking it to a whole different level. So it's just something like, if you're always grinding and you're not seeing the results. I definitely in college didn't focus on golf enough. Doesn't mean I wasn't good. I was still, competing on the team, but you just see a different level of game when you're in college. All right, so I'm about 6 inches off the green. Got a straight uphill putt. And, my goal here is make probabilities pretty low, so I'm going to be focused on my speed. It is a pretty straight putt, so we can see what happens here, but, my goal is to get this within 2 feet, get par, walk out of here if I happen to make something great. If not, just focus on speed. Always doing the same pre-shot routine. Trying to keep that as consistent as possible, control all the variables. Yep, take that putt. Just about 2 feet here. I never really tap in anything unless it's like 10 inches or in. It's not worth it to me to come up and try to rush one, not go through my process. So I'll do everything the same. Just make sure to put a good stroke on it. Little short par 4 here. Dog legs right. It's very narrow. I typically just take a 4-iron and start one at those 2 trees, kind of straight ahead with a little bit of a draw. Try to hit a little punch shot. Don't need to crush it or anything. It's more about position on this hole. Just like that, little draw. It's gonna take the hill. Should be center of the fairway. So after college, tried to play professionally for like a year and a half. I did 2 Q schools. Realized pretty quickly I was not good enough. And a couple, factors around that was, one, not playing well. 2, it's expensive as shit to get out there and try. Folks who don't have money or family money, need to go find backers to support themselves through that. And I did have a few people throw some money my way, but realized quickly I wasn't good enough. So I decided to start my career. Got into tech sales. I moved to Austin in 2018 after a few years of working in San Francisco. I've been in Austin ever since, mainly like working for startups, doing enterprise sales for growth stage companies, and I love it. It's a job. It's a means to an end. Life's pretty damn good. I work hard in the office to afford myself to come out to the golf course and still do the things I love. But that's a little bit about me. My life, golf, not too much. I'm married, got a dog at home. I do not have any kids yet, like Rhett, but hopefully soon. Got 140 to the pin. Got a little bit of a mud ball here, and a little bit of wind in the face. Typical pitching wedge is like a 140 club for me, but I'm just gonna take a smooth 9 here. Take a little bit of speed off of it, flight it into the hole. Try to be a little bit right and short of the pin. Once again, picking a target about a foot in front of my ball, focusing on alignment. Almost shanked it. It's gonna be fine. Not the best shot at all, but I'll have a putt at it. A lot of the times I'm actually not making great contact with the ball, but it's going straight. I was able to qualify for the US Amateur in 2011, and I got paired up with Brooks Koepka in the first 2 rounds. And that was a very eye-opening experience. He was out driving me kind of like Bryson was, by 50 to 100 yards sometimes. And that is someone who just has a different level and kind of opens your eyes up to what other things are going on in the game. So I wouldn't say that was a defeating experience, but when you see someone doing that, playing that well, it's very eye-opening at the end of the day. All right, so as I mentioned, didn't hit that 9-iron well, thinned it, skinked it off to the left a little bit, pin high, didn't hit the green, but all in all, still in play. Nothing spectacular. This putt's going to be swinging a lot from right to left, so it's all about speed again. A make would be nice, but really just want to 2-putt and get out of here and head on to the next hole. Yep, good putt. A little short. Come up, I'm probably about 2.5 feet, 2 feet. Still gonna mark it, take my time. Still go through the same pre-shot routine. There's no need to rush anything. So par 4 here, original course, onion. It's about 400 yards, nothing long. I actually really don't like the tee ball on this hole. I like playing a cut. It's a huge fairway, but for some reason there's not many, things out there to align to. So I like just peeling a cut off the center of the fairway, and if it cuts a little too far, that's fine. I'll just be in the rough. But right is not a good miss here. That's Perfect. Cut about 5 yards. Should be in the center of the fairway. So how did Rhett and I meet? It's funny, I was on the range randomly one day at a course in Austin. Started hitting balls, and next thing you know, Rhett comes out of nowhere. I think he was hitting balls next to me and says, dude, it looks like you're striping it on the range. And we just struck up a conversation, exchanged numbers, said we should go play sometime, and sure enough, we met up, started playing golf together. At the time, I was taking a lot of time off golf, was kind of sick of it. I took about 4 years of just kind of working, having fun, going out, having a social life. And we played in US 4 ball together. But I think the funny thing about Rhett and I is we are polar opposites. And yeah, I think that vibes well with us. I'm pretty calm, cool, collected. He's a wild animal. Someone that likes to have fun, is loud and obnoxious. And one thing about the Bryson and Garrett video that I think is hilarious is he talked so much. He knew the course, but outside of that, I think they cut like 80% of the stuff he put in and was saying on the day. So he gave them the artistic freedom to kind of paint the picture of how Rhett is, and they did a really good job of doing that, but it could have gone in a different direction. So we got some weather rolling in. Might need to play a little faster here. No one behind me. Got 114 to the pin. This is a 52. Should be stock 52. Just gonna float one in there. Swing soft, don't need to do anything special. Maybe go a little past the pin, spin it back a little bit. That should be really good. Oh, hit the pin, spun off the green. Great swing, unlucky bounce. You can see here, we got weather coming in. So after the video was released, Rhett and I were reading the comments, absolutely blown away by the support of everyone saying we should start our own channel. And we kind of sat down and talked about it and said, in 10 years, are we going to regret not doing anything? And we both kind of said, yeah. So we're going to try to get together once a month and film some stuff. And a couple things we've found out is, one, we don't know what the hell we're doing on filming. Two, it's a big barrier to entry, just with finding people who can edit and do all that. But we've committed to getting together once a month, filming some content and trying to have some fun. I think Rhett and I are two very different personalities, approach golf differently, approach life a little bit differently, but we're great friends and we're gonna have fun doing it. So as I mentioned, I hit the pin. The ball mark is literally right here, inch away from the hole. Just hit it, spun back a little bit. So that's 3 missed greens in a row, but I'll still have putts at it. Got a little uphill putt here. I picked a mark about right here that I want to hit it over, just on the left edge of a ball mark. Overall, very makeable putt. I'm never trying to make putts. I'm just trying to put good strokes on it with good speed and have them drop where they drop. That was a good roll. Thought it was going to break a little bit more. I think a lot of with putting is understanding if you hit a bad putt versus if you misread it. That one, I read it, exactly where I wanted to hit it. Just is a misread on my part. All right, another par 4 here. Nothing crazy, pretty similar to the last hole. Not a ton of trouble right or left, but you do not want to miss right. One thing I always focus on, I'm not telling myself, miss right or miss left. I'm just saying, hit a cut to this spot. You never want to tell your mind, what not to do. So just focus on a good target, picking in line a couple feet in front of the ball and letting it rip. So I'm gonna hit a cut here, Just faded off the trees. Should be fine. Just trying to cut. Pulled it a little bit, but just didn't get that cut, so I'm going to be in the rough. So Rhett wouldn't admit this. I think I'm a better golfer than him. And I think every time we've played, I beat him, you know, probably 8 times out of 10. He'd never admit that, but I hit it further than him. I'm a little more accurate with my irons. I'm a better putter. But that's something we're always ribbing each other on, is just getting out there and competing with each other. And at the end of the day, I think we are good buds. We love golf. We're nuts about it. And that's what made, you know, kind of the Bryson match and everything so interesting. I'll tell a little bit about that in a bit. But when he was out here last Friday, we were able to film some stuff, and we're trying to find someone to edit it. My buddy Dom said he can help out. So we're just seeing what we can do, because we have no effing idea what we're doing. All right, so I got 134. It's like a perfect stock pitching wedge. I'm in the right rough. Don't need to do anything special here. Just hit a good one. Try to hit a 1 yard cut. Once again, picking a target right in front, aligning myself to that, putting a solid swing on it. Pushed it a little bit. A pin high. Should have a 10-15 footer. The storm is coming in fast. As I mentioned, we got about a 10 footer here. It's going to be breaking a little right. Let's see if I can put a stroke on it, but the wind's picking up. Got some lightning in the distance. See if I can make a birdie before we might have to call it. Just like that. Not ideal holding a metal pole to film. But as I'm driving in, I'll just talk about the Bryson match, how that came to be. So obviously we saw the Instagram post. I want to make it known that Bryson and I grew up in Northern California. By no means did I know him well at all. I think we played one junior round together when I was probably like 15 and he was 12, but we have not talked since. You know, he was obviously a stud in high school. He was like a top-ranked junior back when he swung it normally without one-length clubs, and then you know, I think it was like his sophomore or junior year of high school he switched. And from what I heard, he had a ton of scholarship offers, and a bunch of them got pulled because you know he just changed so much in his game. But anyways, Rhett and I signed up. We figured you know they were probably looking for some good players, and you know, we kind of talked a little bit of shit in the video, Rhett more than I, but we got picked. And the interesting part is Garrett called me. I was at work and my phone said, hey, maybe it's Garrett Clark. So I picked up and we talked for a little bit. He said, can you guys make your way to Dallas on Friday? I said, hell yeah. The funny part is he said, can you guys pick the course? So Rhett's not a member anywhere. So we just picked the golf club in Dallas, and we honestly had a great day out there. It is honestly coming down right now. You know, if you watched the match, great. If you didn't, you know, welcome. But Rhett and I are just two normal dudes, mid-30s, both work, have good careers, but we also are golf nuts and, you know, love getting out on the course. So, you know, we're going to try to give this a shot. You know, the last thing I'll say is both Bryson and Garrett were unbelievably fucking cool. You know, I'm a pretty laid-back guy. I think Garrett and I are, you know, relatively the same in that sense, kind of quiet, relatively straight-laced. Rhett and Bryson hit it off. They were joking all day, you know, making jokes about anything and everything. But I walked away, you know, blown away by Bryson and Garrett.
more importantly, Bryson was the nicest guy ever. He probably had about 100, 125 people come up to him throughout the day, and he took photos, signed autographs, was as nice as he could be to freaking everyone. And for me, that goes a long way. You know, I asked him about it, and he said, you know, I'm probably making people's days, weeks, months, years even by taking a photo with them. So that was really cool to see, and I walked away, you know, a huge fan. So Rhett and I are going to be posting. We're going to try. We have no fucking idea what we're doing, but we're having fun doing it. We both love golf. I think we both bring an aspect to this in terms of being like high-level amateurs, mid-amateurs that are competing in the game. And we're just going to see where this goes. So thank you for following along, subscribing, and doing all that. It means the world to us.